Hello all and welcome to Wow Crochet Designs. My name is Mary and in today's tutorial we are working on the April project. Yes, you heard correctly, we are in June and we're working on the April project, which is the Easter egg, part of an Easter project for our wreath. Now, if you don't know what our wreath is, there are some pictures right there, simply divine, and there's the wreath. Don't you love it? So we are working on a wreath project, and this was April's project. I forgot to do something for Easter, so we're going to do the April project today. Now, I did do this one first, but I think I put way too many single crochets here to try and make the point more pointy. It didn't do anything except overcrowd the area. So we're not doing that one, we're doing this one right here, which still gives it a point and doesn't overcrowd the area. All right, so what you will need today is, you will need some cotton. Now I used a 2-ply cotton, let's try it again, a 4-ply cotton or a lightweight number 2, a fairly lightweight, because I wanted to make our Easter egg small. Yeah, it says to use a 3mm hook, but I used the 2.5mm hook today, so it's quite a thin hook. You will need your 3 colors. You can use any colors you like. These are the ones I chose. I do actually prefer the pink, yeah, in this case, but that's up to you. You need a pair of scissors, you'll need 1 sewing weaving needle, and you need 1 little stitch marker, and that's about it. All right, guys, I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm just going to let you get started creating your gorgeous little Easter egg. Good luck all. Alrighty, guys, we're going to start off by making a magic loop or a magic circle, if you will. Just grabbing the tail end of your yarn and popping it in front of your 2 fingers. Grab your working end and wrap it around your fingers, forming a little X. And notice how I just popped that thread in the back of the hand there, the last pinky, I think it is. Yep. So you've made your little X. Let's bring that up. Grab your hook, pop it under the first loop, grab that back loop and pull it up and forward like so. What you have is 1, 2, and then these 2 threads here. You have to literally grab everything, which is a little awkward to begin with. It will get better, trust me. And then you just pass it back over to your hand and you chain 1, and a chain is yarn over your hook, pull a loop through once. All right, then in that center you're going to pop a single crochet, and a single crochet is pop your hook in the center, going over both the loops, and then pulling a loop through like so. And you have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through both those loops. What you can do now is just grab that little tail end, give it a gentle tug, but not too much, because you want to fill this up with 8 more single crochets. So just a little tug like so. Then you want to grab your stitch marker like so and pop it in the top 2 loops of that stitch. I think I just split some yarn there, but I'm going to try again. Oh, still feels like I split it, but I'll fix it up later. So pop it in the top 2 loops. I hope I didn't split it, but there you go. And then, whoops, don't lose your work like I just did. Oh, dear me. Let's try that again. And then in the same loop that you are in right there, you're going to pop your 8 single crochets. So pop your hook in the loop, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops. I might close mine a little more because it's really hard to work with a big loop. Yeah. So we're going to do a 3rd single crochet in, pull a loop through, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. This is the most fiddliest row of your project. All right, so don't give up. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. We need to do another 6 more. So 4 and 5. 6, you're still going over both loops. It's a little awkward, I know. 7, 8, 9, and that's it. All right, now to count your stitches, make sure you got them right. you are counting these little V's that you see right here. They look like the letter V. It's a little awkward to see. Let me get a nice close up and do it this way. There you go. Can you see the V's? They literally look like the letter V. Now this is a really tiny yarn. We don't usually use this thin yarn, but hopefully you can see it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Really tiny thread. But if we use a thicker thread, it's not going to work. It's not going to sit on the wreath. It's going to overlap the wreath, yeah? Having a bit of a giggle here thinking about it. But then what you want to do now is just grab that thread, the first thread you started with, give it a tug, and presto magic, it closes up your center. Now, you want to grab, let's tighten up this a bit. You want to grab your hook, passing everything at the back, and just pop it in the single crochet that you first started with your stitch marker in there. Take out the stitch marker, being careful not to lose your place, yeah? So you're grabbing your working end, pulling it through that stitch and through to the loop on your hook. That is the most fiddliest part of the whole tutorial, okay? The rest is a little bit easier. So all you're doing here is pulling up a loop like so, grabbing your scissors, giving your work a cut, and that's what you have so far. Let's get a close up again. Tiny little round thing there. Now normally I would not start a new color up the top. Normally I'd start down the bottom or along either one of the sides. Let's get that out the way to stop it from blurring. But in this case, to make this shape oval, we want something sticking up the top and annoying us. Normally we don't like that annoying thing sticking up the top, but we actually do in this case. So what I want you to do, it's a little tricky. What I want you to do is to start your next stitch, not so much in that stitch that we just pulled through, but just in front of it. That very first stitch in front. Grab that tail and pop it at the back, and grab your new yarn color, whichever that may be. Mine's going to be the blue. Pop it on your hook and pull that loop through like so. Still holding the white tail at the back. Grabbing your blue tail, and just normally I pass it forward and lock it into place. We're not going to do that. We're going to hold both tails at the back and just give that blue a tug. Chain 1. In the same stitch that you are in, you're going to do a single crochet. This is another thing I wouldn't do. This starting section is the old-fashioned way of starting your rounds or starting your double crochets, yeah? I don't usually use this stitch, but you can use a chain 3 if you like. So you've chained 1, 2 and 3 if you like. Otherwise, do the single crochet with me, like so. 1, and then chain 1. It's like a standing double crochet really, yeah? All right, so now that you're here, there's a bit of a knot right there. You're not going to worry about that knot. You're going back into that stitch, same stitch you are in, and doing a double crochet. So yarn over your hook, goes into the stitch, pull a loop through. You've got 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops left, yarn over, pull through the last 2, and just grab a stitch marker or some sort of safety pin or something and pop it in the top 2 loops of that stitch that we just created. All right, because again at the end of this round normally we would slip stitch into our very first chain or that last chain that we made, but we're going to slip stitch into that stitch that will also form your oval shape as well. All right, the very top of your piece you want to go more oval, yeah? So now what you're going to do is chain 1, and in the round, in every stitch you come to, you are going to put 2 double crochets. Now we've got a really big knot there. It might help to give that cream yarn or white yarn a bit of a tug, and I can't go into that knot, right? So what I'm going to do is go into the little stitch, which is the 2 little loops you see up the top, into the next stitch right there. Pop your hook in, pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. Do another double crochet in the same stitch. In, pull the loop through, 3 loops, yarn over 2, 2 loops, yarn over 2, chain 1. So now your job is to put 2 double crochets, chain 1 in every stitch you come to, and off you go. And it's a little fiddly this round as well, but it's a lot better than the last one. The last one was real tricky. Because it's the very first round, it can be a little tricky, yeah? And chain 1. So at this stage, what you're counting are these blue sets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we're going to slip stitch to join. Slip stitching into the stitch with your stitch marker. Pull a loop through, pull it through to the loop on your hook, pull up a loop, grab your scissors and give it a cut, taking out that loop. So what this is doing, by slip stitching into the stitch of the second stitch rather than the chain, it's moving everything over, and you can start to see the kind of pointy look up the top, which is what we're going for. Now up the top here again, we're going to work and pop our hook in the space before the knot. Let's get a close-up. We're going to pop our hook in the space before your knot, like that. Actually grab that blue tail, it's going that way anyway, pop it in your hand at the back, grabbing your new colour, if I can get it, here it is, the new colour, which in my case is the pink. Grab the loop over the hook and just pull it through like so. Pop both the tail of your blue and the tail of your pink in your hand at the back. Now normally I'd pass it in front and lock it into place, but not for this particular tutorial. So yarn over our hook, pull a loop through to the loop on your hook, and that's just holding it in place for you. In the same space, you're going to do a single crochet. Pop your hook in the space, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops, chain 1, and that's that starting stitch from before. Yeah. Now you're going to do a double crochet in the same space, and you know the double crochets, we've been doing them for the last round, and just do 1 double crochet. Then you pop your stitch marker in the top 2 loops of that double crochet, like so. Now in the same space, we're actually going to pop another double crochet in the same space. Yep. Chain 1 and 2 in this round. You're going to skip your little cluster sets and pop a cluster set of 3 double crochets in that space right there over the whole stitch. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1 and 2, and you're doing exactly the same thing for the rest of the round. Yeah, super easy. 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, chain 2, all the way around in every space you come to. All right, so what I might do, chain 1 and 2, is not get you to head off on your own. I might just pop this on fast and just continue in that manner all the way around, and I'll meet you when you get back to the space before the first set. All right, so continue to do your 3 double crochets and chain 2 and off we go. One, 2, and 3. Chain 1 and 2. All right, so here we are at the end of the round. Don't worry too much about that little loop. You can give it a tug. We're going to fix that up later anyway. All right, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cluster sets, and all with chain 2s in between them. Yeah. Then what you're going to do, once again, you're slip stitching into the double crochet. Pull a loop through and pull it through to the loop. Oops. To the loop you are in. Come on, Mary, you can do this. Yeah. And then you're going to, I can do this. Pull a loop through. This is your final cutting before your last round. We are on our last round. Get excited. Last round, you can use whatever color you like. You could have just used the pink if you wanted to, but I'm going to change back to the white or cream, or whatever you want to call it. Now, you can put your cream anywhere you like. I think for this particular round, it would be better to pop it in the stitch that you're in with your knot. All right, so just keep your knot down there, grab your cream, pop it over your hook, pull it through. This is the color that we want to pass the tail forward. This is the only time we pass it forward. We are chaining 1 and we are single crochet in the same stitch that we are in, like so. There you go. Pop your pop your stitch marker in that stitch. Right there. Yep, the very first stitch. Not the second one, but the first one. All right. Now in this case, we're going to pop a single crochet in the very next stitch with the tail. We're going to crochet over the tail. So single crochet in that stitch right there. So actually you kind of really only have 2 single crochets. You really need a third one, which we will talk about at the end of the round. Yeah. In this chain 2 space, you're going to put 2 single crochets. You can keep crocheting over your tail just for these 2 stitches. So 1 and 2. I would leave this tail at the back now because you're going to need that to attach to your wreath if you're making a wreath. If not, keep crocheting over it and then you can cut it towards the end or weave it back in if you want to make it really sturdy. Yeah. So from here, we're going to make sure we don't miss that first stitch there. We're going to pop a single crochet. Did I do 2 in there? Yes, I did. A single crochet 1, single crochet in the next stitch 2, single into the third stitch 3, and 2 singles into the space. All right, where you've got your 2 chains, you're doing 2 single crochets, and then single into your first stitch of the next set, single into your second, single into your third, 2 into the space. Are you getting the picture? Very basic. And get excited, guys, because this is actually your last round until we work out what we're going to do next. Single, do you like that? Single into the first stitch, into the second, into your third, single, 2 singles that is, into your space. All right, so what you have now is that. See how now it's starting to tighten up your stitch and you're getting that oval look. All right, so I think we'll pop this on fast. We'll pop it on fast and we'll do a single crochet in each one of your stitches and 2 single crochets in the space. Make sure you don't miss that very first stitch of the set. So there's 1, 2 and 3, and then you have your 2 single crochets in the space. All right, so continue in that manner all the way around, and I'll meet you there in a moment. I'm just going to pop this on fast and off we go. Alright, I've done my last set. Just make sure you're pulling all your threads at the back, so you don't want any threads showing in front. I still need to do my 2 single crochets in that space, but what I'm going to do is grab that pink tail and crochet over it. Not necessary, but I'm going to do it anyway. So we're going to do a single crochet in the space, which is 1. I've let go of the thread now. You don't need to, you can leave it there. And a second one right there. Now remember before how I said we only have the 2 there, and we really need to put another one, which would have been in that tight chain. But what I'm thinking of doing is skipping the tight chain, popping it in the stitch with the stitch marker and doing your final single crochet in that stitch. That gives it more of a point up the top. Don't worry about that pink thread, we'll deal with that in a minute. And right in that stitch there, oh no we're not, we're going to actually pull the loop, this loop up really tall, and give yourself a long piece of thread, I don't know, 4 fingers, about 8 fingers worth, and give it a cut, right? You're going to softly pull that out, not too tight, don't pull it too tight. Grab your sewing needle. Now I always have trouble threading my needle online, but we'll see how we go. So thread your needle, like so. Oh, that worked, yay. It's not the very good needle, it's actually a thick needle, but it doesn't matter. Thread your needle. Don't you love it? She doesn't even know what she's doing here. All right, thread your needle. Now this thread, we are going to pop in the back of that stitch marker stitch there. So taking out my stitch marker, I think, because I can't see what I'm doing here. So go back into both the loops of that stitch. You're going through both the loops like so, and you're pulling it through like that. Then you're going through, and normally we put it through that top loop of the stitch we just came out of, but I'm going to put it through both those loops like so. Pop that needle through and pull it through like that. And what it will do is actually pull that work a little tight like so, making your oval shape more oval. You can see it now, it looks more like an oval shape. Yeah, so grabbing your thread now, turn your work at the back, and you're going to find somewhere at the back to weave into there somewhere. So what we're going to do is go into that first, see the loop right there, we're going down into that loop at the back. All right, a little bit tricky this because the yarn is very thin, but pull that down the back. I'll show you what happens. Don't pull it too tight, but when you pull it gently, the whole thing hides behind your work. You don't see a knot, and you still have that point. Don't pull too hard. Yeah. So before we do anything else, we're going to weave in. We've got a pink thread here that we're going to weave up and forward, so we might just pop it we'll pop it down this way a little bit. Well, actually you can pop your thread anywhere you like. What I want you to do now is just go through some of the white cream, whatever you want to call it, cream stitching at the back, and I think I've gone through too much of the pink. It's really thick, so go through some of the cream stitching, only a little bit, because we're going to use this thread to weave in to our wreath. Yeah, so just pop it through some stitching at the back like so, and just a little bit like that. And it didn't come through. Here we go, we're getting there. All right, don't pull too tight, remember there's no knot in it. Right, now this is going to be attached to our wreath, so just pull your loop out. We're using this thread to attach the top part of the egg to our wreath. Now what I want you to do is grab that little pink. Remember that pink that's pulling and it's not really, there's the front of it. You can see it dangling there. If you grab the pink up, just grab your sewing needle once again, thread your needle, like so. And you're going to weave the pink into some of your stitch here. Now you're on this side, yeah? I would go right into that stitching there. Now what I've done is, and I'll show you, I haven't just gone into the stitching, I've split some of the blue underneath. Just make sure you can't see the needle from the front here. So once you pull that through to some of the blue, let's get that little tail out there. The front tail has gone. You give it a gentle tug, yeah. Then you're going back in the same direction and just split a little bit of the pink and you're going back into the same direction. Again, making sure you can't see that needle from the front. Yeah. Keep forgetting to do that. And pull that thread through. Oh, I've pulled it through way too tight. It's tugging at the work, all right? So just be wary of that. You're going to go back one more time anywhere you like in different threads. See how I've come out in a different thread there? I'm going back in, make sure you can't see the needle, okay? And that's that. This thread here, we're going to actually cut. Alrighty guys, there we have our little Easter egg finished. What I would like for you to do is to weave in one of each colour and keep one of each colour attached. So weave in one cream, one blue, we've already done one pink, and one white. Alright, we are going to use the other threads to attach to our wreath. Now we're not doing that today, we're going to do that on Tuesday week coming, for the simple fact that I wanted to have a chat with our subscribers about it, alright? On our live. By the way, we have lives at 4 p.m. Wednesday afternoons, usually 10 a.m. Saturday mornings, but we're doing it these dates, 10 a.m. these Friday dates, and that's Melbourne Australia time, by the way, for the next 3 weeks, as I'm in the middle of doing a market with Pipeworks Market at the moment here in Thomastown, Melbourne, Australia. In the meantime, I want you to hang on to all your pieces. Meet me back here Thursday. Let's try Tuesday, and we will attach our little eggie along with a couple of other pieces to our wreath. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the tutorial, I did this one a little different because this one here, I put an extra single crochet in there. So if you want yours to be even more shapely, you can put that extra single crochet. I just didn't like the way it filled up the space there. All right, so thank you for watching, and I will see everyone on our live or on the very next tutorial. Have a good week, and ciao for now. Try to be good. Bye all.